Ladies and gents, welcome back. It's a Monday morning. It's roulette on that far couch.
It's mental, eh?
He's like, you know what though? It sometimes makes a better conversation with two of us, but yeah, it's been tough times out here. There's been
but tell you what, like we're getting this. We can't string anything together before the December run.
Let alone
and then come the injuries, mate. We're gonna be cooked. It's gonna be just you.
It's season over. Season over. Then the time that comes around. Tots is away this week, but
I know he's on a plane somewhere. Like, what's up with that?
Yeah, your bro just dipped out for a couple of days and come back.
He just says on Sunday night, "Oh, I'm actually not going to be there tomorrow."
Yeah, sorry, I forgot to tell you.
I've got a flight. You know, and I'm like, "Oh shit, I was gonna." Oh, sorry.
Hey,
I was going to ask him to cover me because I'm on 3 hours sleep. Like,
it's gotten to the stage. We probably just between the four of us, between Nathan's role, we should just organise just one time, one place, and make it easier. But
speaking of actually, shout out to sort of Nathan's segment, like. It's not often I delve into the other leagues.
Yeah.
You know, El Clasico is about as big as it gets. You know,
so you have to
be honest,
you have to dive
that's about as far as it gets.
Yeah.
Those Mbappe fellas and stuff. You know,
who they?
Those guys. Who's Yamin Lamal? but genuinely, because I watch so much Barca. To be fair, my guy Rafinha though.
Yeah, you called that from time.
I don't know if I said it on camera, but I was big on Rafinha.
Yeah.
Like. Saying, there's a baller in there.
Yeah.
And he's come and done me a big one. So
Hunty ball.
Get me on the like the international or
the European.
The European stage. I need to get on what's K Abdo's show?
Oh, CBS.
Yeah, CBS. Give me a CBS, the midweek sort of vibe, yeah.
Yeah. Bit of Mika action.
Thierry. Me and Thierry are the same, you know.
the Arsenal stalwarts on the panel.
Missing K.
Yeah, not as well. I might just say I'm repping Palace today because they won and my team doesn't want to win, so repping at Michael.
Yeah, I don't know what's up with your boys, man. There's a lot going on. The thing is,
I don't want to be that, like, I try and flick over it most weeks, but this week there's probably more exciting stuff to talk about than that game, but we'll have to flick on a little bit because that's crisis.
I feel like every time I've come on recently, just like my Ten Hag takes have just gotten like better and better.
Yeah, no, I've got to be honest. You carry the show in terms of takes. Like if we look back over the years, like this year or 2 years now, I reckon you've nailed 80% of the things you've said.
The only one I haven't, like the big one is like I haven't nailed an Arsenal like winning anything.
But
and I've been massive
all the
on
ones that's probably the most not really sort of realistic, the fact they haven't got there because of we know City. But like out of all the like proper like bolder takes or like stronger takes, I think you've nailed them.
Yeah, and I was early on the Ten Hag one especially.
Oh no, we could go back a year. I
don't know, we could go back since the inception, mate. And I was probably first episode saying Ten Hag out. Well, I was saying keep him in because he sucks.
For results, for 3 points, get the guy in.
Yeah, legit.
Let's get into it. As I said, this weekend, this was like Barclays ball this week. I'll tell you what, goals galore, late goals, drama. Started on Friday night, which seems an age ago. Nottingham Forest 3, Leicester 1. Bit of a derby there, but I tell you what, I sort of joked about last night, like chat, Chris Wood, but bro, he's second golden boot at the moment. Forest are flying. Nuno's actually proving.
I mean, so what? Like the Nuno run has got to be coming to an end. It's been like
this is maxing out,
mate. It's nearly 3 months. You know, relax.
It's time to go.
Is he going to get like manager of the month? Because that's when it falls. That's when it falls off. Yeah.
Yeah, because he gets the award and then
he dips.
Yeah.
No, but it was actually a bit of a nightmare though. I woke up. And I'm scrolling through, and I see the notification, like Chris Wood double. And I'm like, FPL's in shambles. I was on a roll, and it's just been red arrow after red arrow. And legit, it was nightmare stuff. Chris Wood double. Like.
And hey, handy goals as well, by the way. Like,
and probably could have scored more.
Yeah. But
like,
I know Chris Wood he might make a good finish, but then he'll miss a sitter. But he's not missing he's not missing those chances.
Well, the only one I can really think of that he missed recently ended up being offside. And that was a couple of weeks ago. And it was it was a massive miss. But then, he kind of got bailed out there anyway. So, but yeah, he is a man possessed at the moment. I mean, the Chris Wood form at the moment was making me think of like, there was a recent episode, like, I don't know if you've seen the Jamie Carragher versus footballer quiz thing.
Right, yeah.
And he did one with Chris Wood. And it was how many clubs has Chris Wood played for in England? And
England?
Just have a guess. What do you think it is?
9.
12. He's played for 12 clubs. And I'm thinking...
That's a lot.
So is it like, is it because he's good or he's bad? Like
this is the thing though, because Chris Wood form is incredible. Like the form
yeah.
is nuts. Like you'll take him any club, but they last for like 4 weeks normally.
But like literally though, is it like because he's good or because he's bad?
Look,
You know, like does Everton hold on to Dominic Calvert-Lewin because he's good? Or because no one else wants him?
Wants him, yeah.
And it's like,
It's deep.
I think you got to look at it like the Chris Wood thing is that there's a consistently undervalued player there who's going to provide you something like you know what you get with Chris Wood, right?
Yeah.
And he's going to give 110% on the pitch. And he will find you goals because he does that. He's not going to score you 25, but he'll score you double digits every season. Yeah. And you know, this year he's probably looking at like, I mean, all things go to plan. He can look at 20 plus,
Push
so
20, yeah.
That'd be bloody amazing.
Well, if he goes 20 plus, Forest are definitely up there.
If he gets 20 plus, I mean, Jesus Christ. Unfortunately for him, like Haaland's here, but that is honestly golden boot territory a couple of years back. So it's like, yeah, I mean, the whole Chris Wood narrative and the whole, just how Forest are playing, like, is pretty incredible at the moment.
I can't fault it. I'm just looking at the last few results, right? So 3-1 versus Leicester. I think it's pretty impressive. Leicester are pretty good at home. Like, that's a hard place to go. Beat Palace 1-0, tough game where they go to the line. Draw at Stamford Bridge.
Which is like becoming a better.
I think that's a nuts. Because again, to not concede, only to score one. Like, you go to Stamford Bridge, I think there's goals. Every time I watch a Chelsea game, there's goals.
That result was just getting better and better.
Yeah, that's impressive. Lost at home to Fulham, but I think that's what you're going to get with a rebound here. But drawing Brighton away, beating Liverpool away, like some of the results.
I mean, that's obviously the standout.
Yeah.
Like, you know, like this Liverpool team is the real deal. And
we can stay in that.
And their only like real hiccup at the moment is Forest.
Yeah.
And that's you know, that's not like that's not a coincidence. Like Forest are
that team now.
And their underlying data is really good. Like it's being built from defensive onwards, you know, which in my opinion, especially for bottom half teams, is like an absolute necessity.
Yeah.
You know, as in you just I think it's less about outscoring teams and it's more about like just don't concede those late ones. You know, like just don't. It's so much harder, I feel like, for a bottom half team to get a point if they concede more than a goal than it is for like any top half team because they just have that attacking prowess, right? So, but yeah, I mean,
it's crazy. I think to your point, to finish up on them, the Milenkovic signing goes under the radar a lot. Came from Syria next to Murillo, who was their player of the season last year.
Yeah,
you probably got two of the better informed centre backs, and as such, that counter-attacking style with a Langan or them up top, that's just.
So how does a 1 year fit back into the mix? Because I feel like I don't know when he's due back, but
I think he has to wait his time.
Do they try and fit them both in? Like, how's that go?
I think they got even a bigger problem with Anderson and Morgan Gibbs-White at the 10. Because Morgan Gibbs-White is starting right now, and Anderson for me has probably been their player of the last 4 weeks at the 10.
Very true.
So you've got two problems. But for Nuno, that's the problem you want to have, right?
But like, I mean, Gibbs-White's their captain.
I don't feel like you can't put Anderson back on the left again because he was invisible to start the season off.
Yeah, but
he gets the red. He moves to the 10. Now he's like locked down the 10.
Yeah.
But then you can't drop Hudson-Odoi or Lango because they're just like it's a weird one.
I mean, unfortunately for a 1 year, there's just no way you can just get.
You can't drop Chris Wood.
And you also like this. I think you sort of alluded to potentially like he's got to start out, but. Oh, Chris Wood has a couple of bad games, but I wouldn't even be doing that. I wouldn't be doing that approach either. Like, I just think at this stage with Chris Wood, like you know, okay, maybe after 6-7 games underperforming, you pull the pin. But like with what he's shown he can do, I just think you have to be consistent with starting him and just back him in. You know, because he's not going to score every week.
No.
But like,
ridiculous.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
The thing is, impressive. He's played himself back into form.
Yeah.
You don't normally see that from those type of. I normally get given a pen or given a free goal to get them back, but he's actually played himself back in. Because remember last year he was on fire just before the end. Then he ended rubbish.
Yeah.
Maybe Tottenham. He missed.
Yeah, so I think he scored the hat trick against Newcastle.
Yeah, and then he sort of like went back down.
Yeah, so that was when Nuno came in.
Yeah,
he started off on fire
and
then sort of plateaued,
and then he's come back and reignited himself through his own form. So that's a fair play. That's fair play to him. Saturday games, we had a lot of them, and I think 3 out of the 4 went and had a win in the 95th or beyond minute. So like I had
a little multi on, mate, and it was looking unreal. And I seen there's 2 last minute winners, or last minute equalisers. I'm like, guys, what's going on here?
It went crazy.
Sportsbet called them up. I was like, lads, my $5.
matters. That matters.
I know.
Let's do the first one, which is Villa 1, Bournemouth 1.
Yeah.
The question being, or two questions, being how good Bournemouth is, like where are they sitting, and secondly, the Villa post-Champions League days it actually has become a problem. 0-0 to United, 1-1 to Bournemouth, and I'm pretty sure they drew to Ipswich on the back of their first game as well. So that's 3 games, and I think that's probably most of their drop points this season. They've drawn 3 and lost 1. So yeah, most of their points dropped has come post-Champions League. Is it really?
I mean, like, I think we all said this on the couch, buddy. Like, before the season started, you know, pre-season predictions. What is going to be Villa's drawback? You know, the squad is pretty much the same. You know, you replace Luiz with Onana. You know, you got John Duran's found some form. So that's another sort of asset there. Morgan Rogers is a new player.
Yeah,
like they found some players there, but it's like the reality is they don't have the squad depth anything near Liverpool, Arsenal, City. You know, those Champions League players are sort of the big clubs, and we've seen with these clubs in the like, you know, with Arsenal in the past, with sort of bigger clubs in the past, we haven't had that squad depth, trying to maintain European form with league form. You just can't do it. You just can't do both. Yeah. So it's like, yeah, if you're right in saying that all their sort of blips are coming post like in double game weeks, then
exactly is.
I don't think that's. I think there's a correlation there. Yeah. You know? So, like, and I think that's only going to be amplified come December, come January.
100% January.
You know, so to be honest, it's a bit of a watch for Villa in that sense. You know, what's their injuries like at the moment?
Well, Kamara came back on the weekend. I thought he was gone for longer, but he came back on the weekend. I think they're all there. Because Matson's still on the bench. Yeah. Philly Jean got suspended. Yeah, so they're basically all there.
Yeah, so or they're going to need that availability. And Unai's going to need to be happy with rotating.
That's the thing. Will he rotate?
Like, I think come the congestion, like, don't be afraid to give Watkins a rest.
Yeah.
Like, Duran probably deserves a start.
Yeah.
Like, or at least in the league. I know he's probably been starting in Europe. But, and then you got quite a few defensive assets there. Like, I don't know if Tyrone Mings is still on the bench or if he starts.
He's coming back.
Yeah. So, I mean, and like, you can play Konza as a centre back and rest Pau Torres. And you got a lot of players who are defensive lineup there, so you can rotate as well. And in terms of who are decent enough quality, obviously, not the quality of like the replacements aren't necessarily the same as I said, Arsenal, City, Liverpool. Yeah, but they're still capable players against lesser Premier League teams. And if you want to be successful this season, I think Villa are going to need to not be afraid to rotate, and Unai's going to need to mix it up a little bit. But yeah, more on Bournemouth, I guess. So,
well, obviously, I follow them every week. I've invested in the stocks, and I'm happy I invested early in because it was impressive. Big in them early. And I just like the manager. I like what he goes about because again, yes, Villa weren't incredible going forward, but they were still a threat. But Bournemouth do what they do best. I rinse it like to hell, but Cook and Christie, like it's a Scottishman and an Englishman, and it's like Cook and like it's the most basic name. It ain't Douglas Luiz, or it's not a Kamara, it's not like it's not some crazy ass name. It's not a Casemiro, like it's not
Krista Nielsen.
Don't have a sin on the end of these names. But I love it. The way they go about it, the way they win the way they win the ball back, the way they transition to play for Bournemouth, and then for me the biggest thing I was saying to one of my mates yesterday at work was, if Anderson was dropped, like this was their big money signing, the face line, he was dropped for Enes now. And I thought that could be it. It could be this is it. Flop signing won't happen. If there's any time, they'll probably like save a Premier League careers can come and go like that. Flick of a switch.
And they're defined like by moments, right?
Like moments like this. Last kick of the game, great set piece by Tavernier actually, by the way. And
I thought the ball was
a great ball in. But then fair play, it wasn't a set on goal. He had to get that. He had to flick that header all the way to the back post. And again, Emi Martinez, he saves anything that goes near him. Yeah, fabulous header to equalise. It felt like a win because they did so well. It looked like they were going to get over the line. Barkley scores late in that game, and you thought, they've dropped 3 points. Symbol of their season because Bournemouth, I think, have been fantastic in terms of playing. They haven't got over the line yet, and this yet again on the back of Arsenal as well, where yes, they're a big team, but they're not just sitting in and respecting them too much. I say it a lot against City, and now without Rodri, you need to do it. don't give them too much respect.
Yeah,
like
just sit off them and
still try and win the game. Bournemouth are doing that. Like Emi Martinez had to make 2 saves. Travis had to do a lot in fair play.
Travis was unreal, to be fair. That's a really good point.
With Kepa out as well, like that's a big statement because I think Kepa's been really average this season.
No, that is a really good point. I forgot the game. Yeah. Travis was unreal in that game.
And there was 7 saves in the end. Yeah. Again, not all of them were world class, but some of them were world class saves. So for me, it was pieces around the pitch. Like it was Evan Allison coming on up top, it was Cook and Christie in midfield holding it together, and then Travis in goal. And that for me, with the manager, I just think this team, I did predict them 11th or 10th. Like I went really bold on some of these teams in the middle here. And it might end up working out because I'm being impressed with the progress they've made. But Villa, onto your point, I'm a little bit worried because it's every single time.
Yeah.
And I think the rotation thing's a big one. Barkey comes on and was it Leon Bailey came on as well?
Yes, they dragged, as you said before the show, Onana got dragged, and then Rodgers got dragged just before 60.
But the players who came on made a massive difference. I think it was Leon Bailey's cross to Barkley's touch that should have won the game. So for Unai, have the balls to make the... I get, and I love Rodgers, but these guys are going to get tired. They're not used to double game weeks.
And he's been playing like 90 minutes week in, week out.
Every single game he basically plays,
Yeah, and so they're going to need a rotate at some point. Still young players. He's an emerging player on the scene. Yeah. Playing 10 at Villa, like it is a big role. So I think there's no alarm bells for like the players who got subbed off. I don't think like there's any issues there. I just think it's like bit of congestion, and this is going to happen for a team that's like there's going to be some sort of like teething issues in terms of like trying to establish yourself as like one of the real big clubs now. Yeah, like it's not going to be all smooth sailing. Yeah, but that's a bit of a watch for Villa because it could become an issue. Yeah,
and that's the thing, I guess, to sort of back up your point about City and Arsenal. Those players know how to play 2 game weeks. They don't. Sackers and the Gabriels, the Sleepers now know how to do those.
It's been like for us, it's been 4 years. For City, it's been 10.
It's been ingrained into them, right? Yeah. So the Morgan Rogers, even the Watkins, who you think is an experienced player, they've only had that Europa Conference last season. They're not used to Bayern Munich then.
And not many of them play international as well. That's another factor. It's like at these bigger clubs as well, all these Arsenal City players.
They play twice a year.
I mean, and they don't get a holiday because they're playing Europe. So it's like, it's even more amplified for like Villa in this case.
Yeah, you got to train that in. Yeah. Quickly skip over for some reason. City won, Southampton 0 just because of how good the other games were. Yeah. Matheus Nunes setting up, Erling Haaland in the 5th minute. I guess the only thing to talk about is how many chances Haaland.
Exactly. That was what I was going to say. Is that, I mean, they only won 1-0. They probably should have won 4-5-0. 4-5, yeah. I was a bit salty as a Foden owner. Oh, like, oh my God, put him on a bloody plate for Haaland. Like
he has these games, like 2 or 3 a year where he's like, he could have 40 in a season if he scores these chances.
And like I keep giving Haaland so much credit for being an elite finisher, but you're right, and he is like legit. At 35 games of the year, he's like he outperforms his XG like massively. Yeah. And then he just brings it back in line by just doing this. And when it's funny because when he does score in these games, I know he scored early in this game, so it's a little bit different. But usually when he's in a bit of a goal drought, his celebrations are hilarious. Yeah, they're just like it's just like some like sigh, it's just like relief. I always find it pretty funny. But yeah, that was probably the main takeaway in this game is that City probably should have put 3 or 4 past them. To be fair, Southampton had chances. And did they smack the crossbar?
Archer smacked the crossbar on half-time.
Oh, yeah, he smacked it too.
Don't get me started on smacking the crossbar and PTSD. But I keep wondering why players don't just roll it into the the basket. I know Edison's a good keeper, but just wrong foot him, send him, and then roll it in. You saw we'll get into your game last night, but some of the finish, I'm thinking like this is why they're the top 2 teams. Yeah. Because they finish chances, they're good finishes. And look at this game here. No Archer's sort of that hit and miss kind. This is why I'm so harsh.
Archer's one of those players
the talent's
like waiting to sort of take it to the next level.
Like the talent's obviously there. Yeah. But I continue to be harsh because like, man, come on. If you wanna be a striker in the Premier League, you have to get up from this bottom club, and you can't get out of a bottom club if you're doing that.
And then Armstrong too. Like, I think preseason we're like, can Armstrong become that guy? And
And I was hopeful. I was like,
well, because he does it. Like he just consistently does it in the championship.
they're a championship team.
But they just are.
Unequivocally, they just are the championship team.
I'd be very surprised if Southampton can like make something of this year.
They'll be the fashionable going down team, I think.
Yeah, I'm a bit scared for all three of them, to be honest.
Yeah, I think it's less like the home form. I think it can maybe get them over the line. Yeah. But we said the home form of Luton last year, and that didn't work out.
Is it Ipswich game now?
It's quickly before we move on from City, I just want to say the Rodri difference because of the chances we talked about. I've worked it out. The Rodri difference is City can get counted hard, and quite easily. Mm. So a team like a Liverpool, Arsenal potentially in the next match week Champions League, their blueprint's very obviously there. It's I'm sort of reverting back, sitting deep, compact, but be ready to go on the counter because Kovacic ain't Rodri in transition, and
Rico Lewis and Kyle Walker.
And Rico Lewis when he has to come inside isn't quite the same reinforcement. So the blueprint's there to counterattack them. That's their vulnerability. Again, 2 weeks ago you went on the show, but the Wolves game, same thing. They got countered, they got scored on. So that's your blueprint to beat City. You're right. Let's go into the Ipswich game. Brentford have been involved in some games.
I know.
4-3.
Brentford is mental.
Double from Mbemo, a Vissa goal went a close own goal. Got them
I
over the line
thought
again.
it was a bit stiff there.
I thought it was a goal, but
I thought it was very stiff not getting that goal. I watched the highlights and I was like, wow, that was given an own goal.
I had to double check, but there we go. 4 from them, the 2 superstars up top getting it done, and another late a winner. In this case, 6 minutes.
Bit of a bizarre winner.
Yeah, one of those ones where
I honestly I feel for the keeper.
Feel for the keeper.
No, genuinely. Because I've actually been in that position. Like
you're waiting.
God, it's the absolute worst. Like because obviously if you go to try to cover the ball and then they get anything on it, it's 100% in.
And you get cooked. Yeah, for not coming down and collecting.
Oh my God, that was honestly. I feel like it's actually painful to watch because it's so underratedly hard.
You have to stay.
Oh, it's so stiff. But I think Mbeumo. I don't think Mbeumo meant that.
Oh, no way
at all.
No
so I'm not going to give him any credit. but as an owner, I'll take it because I've been a bit stiff in FBL recently, so I'll take
those points. Yeah, 100%. It was one of those games though. We'll get into one of our segments coming up is the power rankings. Well, I don't know what to take from Brentford this year because they concede a shit ton of goals.
Yeah,
which is not for me. I see Brentford as the 1-0s, the 2-1s. But it's now a 5-3 and a 4-3 at home.
Yeah, I feel like when back when Tony was there, it was like, okay, we're gonna have like Pinnock.
Yeah.
And we're gonna have like these sort of big boys at the back.
Lock it down.
Like and then we'll try and kick it to Tony and get one.
Yeah.
Genuinely.
Pen goal or a little counter goal.
Literally, how many pens?
That's the first season. It was Tony from the spot. 4 or 5 times he won.
You're not wrong, eh? They really have sort of evolved.
And maybe it's an evolution. I just don't feel comfortable looking at Brentford and seeing all these goals.
I love watching it though.
It's great to watch.
Yeah. And I want to trade in Johan Vissa because he's just like he looks like he's gonna be centre of all of it.
He's cooking this season.
Yeah.
Like underratedly, just going about his business and getting.
Because he missed a couple games.
Yeah.
When he's been available, though, it's been unreal. So. Brentford are a bit of a. I know you mean. Not sure what to make of them. Ipswich. So who scored So Hurst started for Delap, yeah?
Yeah, so Smodics and Hurst, who scored the opening 2, and they sort of both are in that
tidy finishes too.
Good finishes.
And they should have put a third away.
Yep. You say this for every game, but for a team like Ipswich, you have to take those ones.
I know.
You have to. There's just I keep seeing Luton in this team, man. It's the exact same mould.
It's the exact same vibe too.
Yeah.
Leicester and Southampton are like Premier League clubs, right? Ipswich is just like, it's just not really. Sorry, guys, but
you guys
and Luton is just not. And it's just, there's similarities there. They're very similar, right? So, and then, you're not wrong. They just can't get any points, man.
And that's the only criticism with this league sometimes is that I can't see any team establishing themselves. I just can't see it happening.
Well, I tell you, if it's 2 years in a row where all 3 teams go straight back down, especially like teams like Leicester, who are, they have good owners who spend a bit of money, decent, good stadium, and they obviously have the Premier League history.
Yeah.
And if they can't come up and stay up,
we've got a problem.
Then the gap is just, Yeah.
It's a real big
But
problem.
I think I made a road call on here not long ago saying like the league's going to expand.
Yeah, you did. Yeah.
For my sake, I hope all three go back down. Expand the league, mate. Make it more competitive.
The thing is, it's a funny thing. It's competitive. It always is competitive.
Well, no, it is really competitive.
But at the same time, it's not.
Yeah.
Like it's the same sort of storylines you get.
Yeah. Like each game on its own merit, like
It's great.
yeah, it feels like it can go either way.
Yeah.
But then it's amazing how the league just does this thing to work itself out.
Yeah.
That consistently enough, the worst teams come out on the bottom.
And they still see the bottom. Yeah.
But it has changed a little bit in the last few years. I was looking back, like when I was doing my predictions before last year, and it was really rare for all three teams to go back down.
Yeah, we're debating.
And look, it might not happen this year as well.
Yeah.
But I just look at the Premier League, like the teams who were there last year. Like the non-promoted teams who are in the area. And I just think you're just too good to be there.
Yeah.
And we'll see in the power rankings. They're just too good to be down there. And their squads are just better than the likes of Ipswich and Leicester and Southampton. And it's just like,
what can you do?
I worry for them, man. Poor little guys.
I'm interested to see how they're over January, because that's when Luton sort of kicked into sort of gear a bit and made it like we thought like, oh, could they do it?
But even then, like Luton did it against big teams. Like,
they haven't done it against.
Has Ipswich put?
Saying that they did it at home against big teams.
So
Ipswich have drawn to Aston Villa. They took it to Liverpool opening day, which I thought was always going to happen because opening day.
They took it to him, but then they was put to bed in like 30 minutes, wasn't it?
Yeah, well, Liverpool just turned up for 20 seconds and.
Yeah, I think it might have got to half time was 0-0.
Yeah,
and then straight after half time, they just like put it.
Constant got dragged. And then Liverpool flicked on. So yeah. Yeah, can they take it to an Arsenal? Can they take it to a City at home?
Yeah, which is what Luton were able to do.
Yeah.
And Luton's biggest drawback was that they couldn't do it against the small teams.
Literally was that they dropped points to Everton and all that stuff.
Ipswich I'm a little bit more worried about.
Yeah, I think definitely we can say with 90% confidence Southampton, Ipswich are already.
Yeah,
ready to go.
Yeah, I think which is a bummer because I thought Ipswich was going to be my fairy tale.
It's the fairy tale to stay up.
Yeah.
We have to have one every year. Like every year we're gonna have one of those teams.
Like my heart's, my brain's telling me no, but my heart's telling me yes, man.
Yeah, you have
all
to back him in there. Yeah, back him in. Let's do one more game on from the midday Saturdays before we get into our first segment. I'll watch the game as well. Brighton 2, Wolves 2. Each week I'm more dumbfounded. Brighton and Tottenham for me they're painful.
Yeah.
As a neutral, they're amazing, but they're so trying to understand how the fans' point of view and come on here and talk about them. It's hard to talk about because Brighton went from dominating the first half and looked like they want to cruise it to being in a state of hurt come probably the 60th minute. Wolves got back on top, peppered away, and then the way they conceded that second, I don't know if you've seen, it's been on social media a fair bit, that final goal. So yeah, it was, who had the ball? Matt Veef had the ball 4-on-1.
Oh, yeah. Oh, my God.
Tommy Doyle, not even, I was saying to someone yesterday.
Yeah, that was pretty mental.
It was giving Declan Rice sort of vibe of last year, but it wasn't even that because Tommy Doyle had given up. He was standing still.
Yeah.
So, Declan Rice was tracking back versus Liverpool. It was sort of a little bit difficult. Doyle had given up, standing still. He just passed him the ball.
That was mental.
Doyle to, I think it was Sarabia to Cunha, 2-2.
It was giving me how like Troy... Deeney flashbacks.
It literally was
like
one into the other.
Just how fast it went from like how open that chance was to then and like literally 2 passes later, Cunha's got it and just slaps it in bottom left or whatever. And yeah, it was that was mental to watch.
It was like a fairy tale game. So
Lincoln, you miss it, mate. It was
honestly the thing. It was like out of a movie.
Yeah,
because they were done. They're 2-0 down. Ferguson scores the 85th minute. You thought. Ferguson gets his goal, happy days, game's wrapped up. Then just like out of nowhere, Ait-Nouri scores a goal.
Ait-Nouri, bang, FPL bang.
He's racking up the goals this season.
Yeah,
that's
mate.
3
He's
goals.
a target. Trade him in.
Yeah.
They have an unreal. By the way, Wolves have an unreal fixture.
They've done the toughies.
So I'm so First, I'm so glad they got a result there, and you'll see on the power rankings.
Yeah.
There's a club in there.
Trusting Gareth.
There's a team in there.
There's a team in there. Because 2-0 down, I thought, it's done. I thought.
What's more Brexit, Gareth or Gary?
Gary.
I feel like you've tried to Brexit it up there, but I feel like Gary might be more Brexit.
Yeah, maybe un-Brexit. Gareth sounds too much like Southgate though.
Yeah, that's probably peak.
That is maximum Brexit.
Neville or which one's more Brexit? Neville or Southgate?
Neville. Take your pick. Take your pick out of all those ones. Desperate point though. For we've got to be honest though.
Yeah.
2 points now out of 9 because one it seems ridiculous. But 1 point out of 9, I'm pretty sure is the worst start ever. I think so. They desperate just for the
For Wolves
history
or any team.
That's the point I didn't
Or because
quite
Southampton
pick up
there as well.
Yeah, because I must not be then because the commentator was mentioning it deluxe in that game. Once
Definitely probably Wolves
would have been Wolves' worst start, but 1 point in 9. As much as how good we back him in, that screams.
You're not wrong, eh? Like
that screams.
We are. I feel like we probably are giving Gary a lot of credit for 1 point in 9 or 1 point in 8, and then getting 2.
I was saying this yesterday, man. I was like, I back him in, but at the same
they've
time,
had such a tough fixture run, though.
Fixtures.
Like you scatter what we expect to come over these next few weeks in the middle there, and it's
And
like
it looks fine.
it's fine.
Yeah, you're on 6-7 points by now, and you sort of
and
you're safe.
you're trending upwards. Like they're fine. I think
They've done the hard yards. The Warriors, Brighton. I don't know what to think of this team because of that goal. Because you're committing, you're 2-1 up. They've just scored a goal in 80, whatever, 9th minute, whatever it is. I get you on the break. I get it, you're on the break. But they committed, I think, 8 players forward.
How do you cook that? Like honestly, how do you stuff that up?
But even if you do, don't commit everyone up.
I
know this is the whole Hertzler, Postecoglou style. You go for it. But man, come on. Like, just see a game out. Like, same thing with Tottenham 2 weeks ago against Brighton. See the game out. You don't need to go for hero ball and score the extra goal. Get the 3 points.
Yeah,
and this is back to your point about defence. Yeah. Just defend instead of, I'm just worried about Brighton. Yes, they'll do great. They'll play some great football, but you shoot yourself in the foot and stuff like that. Let's go to our first segment. We'll go to the power rankings first. That's probably the bigger one of the two.
Yeah, okay.
Again, always a funny one, this one each year, because I think you said it well, is if you put these two teams against each other, their position should tell you how the game should go. That's probably the best way to put it.
Yeah, so I've got a little bit of a caveat to that. So some teams that have like a lot of injuries, I've sort of like factored that into how they're performing despite being sort of undermanned.
Yeah.
To then saying, okay, on the basis that they get everyone back, or like, or their players are nearing coming back and stuff.
How
like,
it sort of work out.
Then I think there's even more room for improvement there.
Yeah, a very performance-related based list
very
here.
Form, like super.
Yeah, super form, super performance, because, again, some teams are interesting spots. Do you want to do like the bottom 5 as a bunch? And then we get into the good guys? The good guys, the top guys. You want to go first?
I've got not many surprises here. In last place, Southampton.
Yep.
Then West Ham, despite the win, West Ham are still down there.
19.
Very unconvincing win. Ipswich, Leicester, and Palace.
So right, okay. Yep.
So I think probably the main one I feel like we differentiate is our take on Leicester.
Yes.
I feel like you give Leicester a little bit more credit than I do.
Yeah.
It's probably a factor that I haven't watched them as much this season.
That's about
Just due to like
fixtures and stuff. Fixtures,
I wasn't watching at 3 a.m. on Friday.
I can't say I was either. I had to wake up and watch it.
However, I feel like the rest of them sort of speak for
themselves. Yeah.
I guess West Ham obviously get a win against United last night, but God, has there ever been a more unconvincing win? Like, I'm not even joking. Like that, unfortunate for United. I think that game was honestly like, okay, it's a win for Lopetegui, but that is genuinely it. Because that was a lose. Like, that was just a terrible game.
I was going to say what the game
for all teams.
But like football lost yesterday.
Yeah, honestly, that was like shocking.
That was the worst advertisement for football I've seen in my life.
You guys are giving some stinking advertisements recently. They got to stop putting you on Goal Rush, by the way. Like, you're turning people away.
I've hated about Goal Rush because I don't know why City games always. Because again, I don't like watching City, but they're always the main Goal Rush game. Yeah. So when I want to watch Saturday night, I have to watch 2 non-Goal Rush games. So I miss all the goals. I'm furious. Stiff. But yeah, I have a problem with that. Man United Goal Rush. Chelsea are on.
Yeah, I couldn't. Chelsea Newcastle.
How is that not a bigger game?
I was thinking like even Spurs Palace. Like,
I'd be down for Spurs Palace Goal Rush.
It's where it's Optus Australia. Yeah. It's going to be a much better.
And you're destined for goals. Or you should have had goals in that game. Yeah.
The expectation is a lot more goals, right?
It's so strange.
Whereas you're watching one of the most like United have been one of the most boring teams in the league this year.
Yeah.
And then probably the worst or second worst team in the league this year in West Ham. It's like, why is that the feature?
Featuring Premier League football from there. That's pretty simple in my list. Southampton bottom, Ipswich 19th, West Ham 18th. I put Palace 17th. and I put Wolves 16th, just because.
I'm giving them way too much credit.
No, but the credit's understandable. But I'm taking a big viewpoint of like, as much as there is big teams, last season they did get points against some of these teams at home, and the performances have been good. I'll give them that. But I just like Leicester's performances and the results they get from it rather than the Wolves.
It's probably just worth mentioning. So, of the bottom 5 there that we had, and then the current bottom 5. So it's in like.
Oh, good point. Yeah, it's not,
yeah. So because obviously it's the power ranking.
Yeah,
So
it's gonna be
how do they differentiate from where they actually are?
ladder, yeah.
So Wolves and so Everton were the only one we both didn't have.
Yeah. Again, recency.
And I think that's probably on the fact they're coming good.
Yeah, 2 weeks ago could be a different story.
And then I didn't have Wolves, which is interesting because they are 19th.
Yeah.
But I also think
but you've seen the light.
Yeah, I think that could change very quickly on the basis of just what we've seen they can do.
We know about their max.
But other than that, we had Palace, Ipswich, and Southampton amongst that as well.
Yeah,
and then I guess West Ham are 13th.
It's funny what a win can do, man. It's funny what a win can do in this.
It was just such a bad win, and he's just not going to be there come the end of the year. I'll tell you.
But I thought it was El Sakiko yesterday. I was adamant whoever lost was going to get sacked. So we'll have to wait and see for that by Friday.
Who else?
You had Leicester down there, who just outside.
Just outside.
So pretty similar. Yeah. Let's do the next 5, then we'll do the top 10 one for one.
So then the next 5. Okay, so Everton.
Yep.
Wolves. United.
Yep.
Brentford. Fulham.
Yes. Okay.
So yeah.
Ours will be pretty similar. So I went Leicester 15th.
Yeah.
So you're just out, so basically same spot. I went United 14th, which is funny enough how they finished in the table.
Really low.
And this was before yesterday, by the way. So I made this before the game had started yesterday. So I had them there and they finished there on the table. So maybe it's a sign. Everton 13th. I think the form was fantastic. I'll give Tots the benefit of that there. They've done well. Brentford 12th. Again, I don't trust it at the moment. And I went Newcastle 11th because I don't trust that either. Brentford and Newcastle are similar for me because I see them as defensive orientated sides that don't concede chances. And they're both conceding a shit ton of chances. They've both sort of
evolved, but for the better.
For the better or the worse, I don't know.
Yeah.
But
for Brentford, it looks like it could be for the better. For Newcastle, I'm not so convinced.
I cannot convince.
Like Newcastle's best season was like, when Botman and Cher were like a brick wall at the back and
holding down.
There was like a stat where like they'd never lost with Botman in the team, and that is just
not a thing.
One of those days, man.
You'd Fulham down there.
Yeah. So right? I mean. Can we just like briefly touch on United? Like,
yes. Wait, where did you have them?
So I had him
13th.
I had him 14th.
14th. Well, okay, both of them 14th.
Yeah.
Valid.
Which is I did have him 13th. I did him 13th. Which is obviously very valid considering they are 14th.
Well, literally are there, yeah.
But it's just like where is it going wrong for that team at the moment? Because if we're doing a squad rankings list, which could be an interesting concept, where would United rank on a squad basis?
6th.
They've got to be like obviously top 10 at least.
Oh no. That anyone would be lying to you if they said that.
Oh, you can make
the argument's top 5.
You can make a case there as far down as like probably 8th. You could make the case.
You could, but I think it's ridiculous.
You probably make the case they're probably 5th.
Yeah, I think 5th, 6th is where they land. I think
5th's probably about as 8th to 5th is probably where they fit.
Yeah,
and then on that basis, they should be performing roughly around 8th to 5th.
Mm-hmm.
And at this stage, they're just miles off it.
And it's not like the fixtures have been difficult.
Yeah, absolutely not.
No, it's Liverpool and Spurs, the only 2 teams so far.
That was supposed to be a cakewalk last night.
Yeah,
and there's this, and this. I guess the problem is that they are 14th, and we're reflecting that on our powered rankings too. Yeah. In the sense that it doesn't look like they're turning the corner anytime soon. Right?
This is where they fit, right? This is sort of where it
sits. So that isn't like. That is a massive red flag because at least for Gary O'Neill, you'd say, okay, well, they probably haven't got the results they might have deserved. Mm-hmm. That's why you give more credit than Ten Hag is probably going to get. Because it's like we're just not seeing anything to suggest you shouldn't be there. You know, I don't know. Very concerning.
I'll say probably for the last time this year because I don't want to keep rinsing it out. But United is a imbalanced mess when I look at it. You look at all the results back. Whenever we attack well, we can't defend. Yeah. Whenever we defend well, we don't score goals.
It's the worst.
And that's a problem. And then this, and that's why last night was my big epiphany. when I back up to your point, which you've said now for God knows how long, there's no style. If there's no style, and then when you try and play one way, another way doesn't work, or there's no balance with the style you play, and there isn't a style, if you put those two things together, it's like, what is this then? Because like,
it's funny.
I got look at Europa League. It's like, oh, great attacking football, but we shipped 3 to Porto. But then you come to Premier League, you defend really well.
Mate, the stages of denial where you guys were saying, oh, his style is no style. Yeah. It's just the funniest thing. I sat here.
I still stand by the style is whatever the match day is.
No, but
it sounds ridiculous.
It's true. Yeah, you're actually right. It's funny because you're actually right. But then it's just funny to think that like
that's a style.
Like that will bring you success. Because it's just like, give me one example of a team that is like remotely challenged, let alone won anything doing that.
Yeah,
it just doesn't exist.
It's not a thing.
You know, the most iconic sort of teams in history, like in terms of winning stuff, like you think of Porto from Mourinho winning the Champions League,
Brexit defense,
so identifiable that style, or why City have been so dominant in the last decade under Pep, so easily identifiable, and like and then even in recent times, I come back to the Arteta one with Arsenal. It was like he's taken us from sort of the slums in terms of like big club, by being just like really thorough and like sticking to the plan. And I just think that's the only way to bring you success, which is why I've always banged on about Ten Hag and United, like why I just didn't believe in it, because it was just never a plan there in my opinion. But that is a concern.
That's that
they're out of form, and they're also
is that just
out on the ladder?
Is that form? Was that just where?
Or maybe because they align. That's just where they are.
That's much where they
interesting.
All right, let's go one for one here. 10th place.
I had Newcastle.
And I had Fulham, so we just rotated those two around.
Yeah, so
always just yo-yoing.
That's both where they are on the ladder.
Yeah,
Newcastle's a bit disappointing.
Yeah.
I would be pretty worried for Eddie Howe.
I feel like I'm being harsh on him, but I continue to say I think he's the one that's going to go.
I just think it's because like, whether he deserves it or not, I think I said earlier in the year, I don't think the ownership will be afraid to bite the bullet there.
That's the thing, yeah.
Like as in, there is a squad there, like
100%.
I don't think they're creating enough for what they have up top. Like in terms of chances. And then, especially defensively, like where's that gone?
That's your identity.
It's just really flashbacks to Eddie Howe at Bournemouth too. Like they were good, and then they were really good.
Yeah,
and then it just sort of all unraveled. Like everything they were doing well disappeared.
Yeah,
and then obviously different fates than Newcastle will have, but I don't want Newcastle to just waste this season though, and like takes so long to make a change, and
it's dangerous. You can't have wasted season anymore with the hell West Ham are doing rubbish, but like West Ham a few years ago jumped in. They're sort of being around the place.
Yeah, or even Brighton, Chelsea are more comparable to where Newcastle like want to be, in the sense that you fall out, and then look how long it's taken for them to like look how much money and time, and like abuse the club would have copped to get back to like
respectable.
Yeah, right. And that is just you're 100% right. You once you start drifting out, it becomes harder to claw back in. As in. So 100% nailed it there. 9th, I've got Brighton.
What? Okay, fair. I went with Bournemouth 9th. You're back in. Bournemouth. I like that. Yeah, I'm a fan of that.
Yeah. So. Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to like take anything away. They beat us 2-0 like a week ago. So like on Bournemouth, right? Yeah. And then in terms of Brighton, I think that's just where about they are.
Yeah, I like Bournemouth.
I got Bournemouth 8th.
Okay, we rotate them around. I'd Brighton. Yeah, so
cool. So
I guess I just like Brighton a little bit more because the playing group and the style is so identifiable. Yeah. Do I agree with it? Probably not. I wish I had a plan B. Same with Tottenham. I wish I had a plan B. But I can't hate it. Bournemouth, I just want to see more results come through because I'm big on. I think Bournemouth's style is one of the better.
Yeah. Where are Bournemouth on the ladder?
I think they're sitting 10th.
11th.
Which is, I think,
and then Brighton are 6th. Yeah. But
it's just the way Brighton can capitulate so easily. Yeah. We've seen it obviously last year with the Europa League and stuff like that, but we're starting to see little signs of it again. And I'm a young manager as well. We know how that can start to fray very quickly with a side like that.
Yeah, I mean, as I said, like I'm not going to deep it too much. Like if you can beat Arsenal,
pretty handy.
Like 2-0.
Yeah.
At away. Home. at home. Arsenal's home. They're home.
Bournemouth.
It was at Bournemouth.
Yeah. Sorry. I thought you were talking about Bournemouth. Yeah. So yeah.
I was thinking, no way we lost 2-0 home. And well, regardless, if you can be Arsenal 2-0, like I don't know it was a red card and everything, but like it wasn't like they were bad before that.
I say the first half an hour was back and forth.
Yeah. So I'm gonna give a lot of credit there. It was our first loss in 6 months. So
actually.
Yeah, that was our first loss in 6 months. So yeah, fair. Like that has to hold a lot of weight. So. Similarly to why Forest, we'll see.
They're going to
a big scalp driven that. So, yeah, I guess so 8 was Bournemouth, and
and I had 8 Brighton, so we just rotated them
so
around.
7,
Yeah. 7 I had Tottenham,
Spurs as well.
Yeah. Again, same as Brighton. Give me a plan B.
And this will change. Spurs, that'll be the most volatile one in this whole list.
Yeah,
because
that's where they play.
That's just the nature. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
This is the nature of the way they play and the results they get. And like it can be a bit frustrating, or very frustrating actually. Like as in, like you go into this game against Palace and you're thinking, oh, how many are they going to score?
Many? Yeah, how many?
We just said that. Like as in, maybe that game goes on the goal rush because it's like
you expected goals.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah,
Palace are in shocking form.
Confidence is down there.
Yeah. Like nothing's going. Like Glasner's jobs.
He was on the line.
Yeah, like that's not looking good either. Yeah. And then like Dominic Solanke has had one shot in 3 weeks.
You have to get onto that. That's big news.
Like I think his XG in the last 3 games is legit like 0.08 or something. Like, there's just something not clicking there. I don't know what's going on.
It's the curse at Tottenham, man. Number 9.
Yeah, and then just I can't even remember Palace's goal. What was it?
It was a good cross from Munoz and flicked on by Eza and Mateta to the bags. We'll go into that game because I got a few thoughts on both sides of things there. But yeah, Spurs thing for me, as much as I love the whole balls to the wall attacking football, just give me something different. Give me a plan B because way to ruin the rest. But all the teams above, I think have a plan B or a different style that can manage games rather than just if you are 1-0 down or if you go 1-0 up, how to manage a game.
Yeah, being one-dimensional will only take you so far.
Yeah.
So you will batter teams.
Yeah, but you can equally.
You have a great result against United.
Yeah.
And then this will happen. Yeah. And you can't break a team down.
To be honest, when a manager has a better IQ than you, Ten Hag's seems to be just bland and basic and just simple as well, but his style's better, so it progresses. But Glasner has multiple ways of playing a game. You fall apart.
Yeah.
Funny one. 6th.
I have Forest.
Agree. Forest 6th.
Yeah. So, I mean, we already rambled about him a bit in the start of the show. I don't think too much more needs to be said about Forest.
Playing good form.
And it's reflected on the ladder. They're 7th. The result on the weekend sort of just kicks them up a little bit, and their best form has been of late. So
yeah, 100%.
That's about it.
Agree with that. Can't say anything more with that.
5th?
5th, I went Villa.
Likewise.
Yeah. It's just
that top 4 it seems to be sort of a bit of a gap on the rest this year.
Yes, and it's funny because Villa could finish 4th, and I wouldn't be surprised. But I just like Chelsea a lot, right? And last night sort of compounded that fact for me.
Chelsea this year is what I expected last year. I predicted them third last year.
Yeah,
and I was like, telling you, this squad is good. Like, do not stop sleeping on this squad. Mm-hmm. And then last year was obviously a basket case.
Yeah.
Maresca, I really...
Fair play.
I mean, we're not even speaking about Villa, but we already spoke about Villa a lot. So...
It's just not quite taking that step yet. I think that's the good summary of Villa.
Yeah,
they're not quite top 4 of the team.
Yeah, they're in good form. They're a good team. Yeah.
They'll take 5th.
Yeah. Do you have Chelsea at 4th?
I have Chelsea at 4th, yeah.
Likewise. So...
I'm excited at least by it.
Yeah, like as in, I don't want Chelsea to be good.
Yeah, no.
But then again, I also I like the way they play.
It's so good to watch.
Like as in I can't, it's now a game I look forward to.
Yeah.
When it comes to watching on the weekend. So there's, as a neutral, I love it. And the play, the players are nice there. You got big name players who are young and they're all doing their thing, and Nicholas Jackson's in form. That's kind of that. That's not bad to see as well.
I've been waiting on this.
And then just everything about him: Cole Palmer, Jackson. Yeah. They got so many players there. Pedro Neto, Sancho's there. There's just so many appeals to this club, and topped off by the fact that they're actually playing well now as well. And it's not just the Cole
Playing well.
Palmer show. It's
Yeah.
like it's the
Team.
everyone. It's the team show,
It's a team
right?
show.
You know, solid defensively. Palmer still doing his thing, and yeah, like they look. That, you know, they're not going to challenge for a title.
No.
But it looks like they have the foundations of a squad which could in coming years.
Yeah. I feel like if we could go back a few years, Thiago Silva into this team, all of a sudden I get worried about how dangerous, because I still feel like that back 4-5 yesterday.
Yeah, that's a really good point to be
is
honest.
a little bit, and like Reece James is filling it at right centre half now, and I like it because they want him on the ball more.
Yeah,
I just for a Chelsea viewpoint,
there's definitely quality there.
Yeah.
You're 100% right. That experience like of a Thiago Silva.
you need someone that back line. The front, I'm happy with the midfield going forward. I'm so glad they dropped Enzo. I don't like him at all, but like Cole shows signs, Fofana shows signs, but equally
Gusto
so,
does his thing.
like Fofana slips over and Isaac could have scored in like the 90th minute yesterday. So there's still mistakes there. And I say every week with the prediction stuff, I'm like, I'm always going to give the opposition team a goal because Chelsea are always vulnerable. As much as they're good going forward, the back 4-5 there's always some mistake in them.
Yeah.
And if you have a Thiago Silva
I mean,
there,
it's a combination of the fact that they're
Eliminates
all
that.
pretty young.
yeah,
Like Fofana's come back from like missing so many games in the last
no
3
knees
years.
left, yeah.
Colwell was young. Reece James, can't get in the park.
Yeah.
So look, it's a squad which there just feels like there's so much upside in it though, right?
Yeah.
And like in terms of becoming, like having better team chemistry, plus they're all young, so there's so much like growth there.
Yeah.
And they're only 9 games into like this regime with Maresca. So it's like, we gave Poch the whole season. And he said he probably needs longer.
Yeah, we thought given a
And
year.
then you get the right guy in and they just make it happen.
Mm.
He wasn't afraid to make tough calls, and
Yep.
you got to respect it. Like,
100%.
but they were the right tough calls as well. It wasn't sacking off Ronaldo for the sake of like, oh yeah, I need to make a statement here.
Who's that you talking?
Like, I mean, you could argue even Arteta early days with Orba, like.
But it's a right. You're right. It's a right.
But this
call.
one were obviously the right calls. Sterling just didn't have a place in this team.
Yeah.
Ben Chilwell, like just unfortunately too many injuries, too many like, and you can make the same case for Reece James, but there's definitely a character difference there as well. One's the captain,
And quality as well.
yeah, and yeah, exactly, and quality.
Yeah.
There was just those guys don't have a future at this club. Trevor Chalobah, thanks for your service. We'll see you later. Like,
Yeah.
there was a clear identified plan there in terms of who wants to keep, who wants to sack off, and the way they play is clear. Maresca is ticking all the right boxes, and it's hard to not see this Chelsea team being like a challenger in years to come.
2 years' time, it could be a bit scary.
Man, I'd be watching that next year.
I think, like I said, if you had experienced
It's not like
player,
they're not going to spend the money.
yeah, just add one. It doesn't have to say, it can be 20 million for just a 30 someone.
Yeah, but it's in like.
It's just they got. Yeah.
But they're going to probably go out and get quality because that's just what they do. Like,
Victor Gyökeres as well. I know Jackson's killing it, but someone who no one talked about anymore. Like if you get another striker,
I don't know Arsenal's linked to him.
I'm surprised not everyone's linked with him, but
Or with his buddy output, yeah.
yeah, one there for Chelsea, striker and a defender. I'm considering them a threat. This was going to get funny because I flipped and flopped so much in the front top 3. I'm going to be honest with you. So
My number one was set.
Do you have City one or do you have you guys one?
I've asked one.
You've asked.
I know, which is rogue.
No, but this is
hear
the
me
thing.
out.
This,
So okay, we'll just do top 3.
yeah, so I ended up going Arsenal, Liverpool, City.
I went Liverpool, City,
I
Arsenal.
originally had Arsenal, Liverpool, City. So I flipped them around.
Wait, so 3 you have?
So I have Arsenal 3,
Yeah, I got
then
Liverpool
Liverpool, and then City.
And I got City.
But I initially had Arsenal first.
Yeah, okay.
Then so again, I'm
wow,
got to be confident.
that's an interesting.
I had to sit there and think about it, but I'll let you go.
So the reason I went Arsenal 1 was that people can like troll us or like 2-2 at home Liverpool, this team's so washed, but it's like, mate, we lose Gabriel, we lose Timber, we have no Odegaard, we have no Saliba, we have no Calafiori, we have no we've lost all of our left backs somehow. We've lost all of our fullbacks despite signing 10 of them. We're paying Partey at right back. It's just who was immense, by the way. He was insane.
Great game.
But it's everything is going against us at the moment. Yeah, and this happens across the season. I have no concerns. Like, I'm glad it's happening now because I have faith that it's going to click at some point. And yet, we're in my opinion, we're still the better team. We still deserve to win. I know we didn't, which can be a concern. But we've lost one game in 6 months. We lost to City, or we drew to City in a 98th minute header or something. Like, and I know Premier League winning teams don't do this, but I don't think the league is going to be I don't think it's going to be a 100-point season.
No,
just on the basis that there's too many competitive teams now at the top, and
there's gonna be injuries as well to the big teams. Yeah,
like that. There's not. Yeah, we've already seen Rodri's gone. KDB's been out of the season.
Yeah, Saka and Odegaard.
And then for Arsenal, but a catastrophe.
Yeah.
But like, I think like 85 points could win you the league this year because there's so many teams at the top. Like Chelsea challenging now, Liverpool going to be good, and there's the top teams is going to drop points because there's other top teams essentially. So I'm not concerned by the points tally at the moment, and yeah, I just think that when we get this team fully fit, which is only a couple weeks, which is like a week away. Like we'll have
Odegaard's very close.
Odegaard's pretty much back. Saka came back with a bang. Unfortunately, Calafiore doesn't sound great, but we get Saliba back next week. I mean, mate, I'm worrying for the other teams, you know. And I honestly just think, I think we have Chelsea next week.
We have Chelsea next week.
We have Newcastle next week. Then we have Chelsea. Yeah, I'd worry for everyone coming January. So I honestly don't think we might not drop a point. I have so much faith in this team.
Valid reason. So you had City too, yeah?
Yeah. And that's just because they are first. Like, and they do just keep winning. But then again, City's got alarm bells as well. Like, you know,
that's the thing. That's why I had City third originally. I was like
what's up with City like not being able to score?
I know.
Like, you know, John Stones bails him out. Was it midweek? Yeah, sorry, last weekend. It was and then against us, like, and it's just.
And then that's why I ended up putting them first. Because
because exactly
purely just
they're doing it again.
They're doing it again. Word, but just the aura of just like
it's terrible. I hate it.
I hate the word, but
I hate the club.
Like this is it. This is what they do.
And
it's when Pep comes out in a press conference and praises Russell Martin, who he probably never heard of. He's like, I learned a lot from these managers. I'm like, come on, man. Like they're taking
what did Pep do the other day? No. This quote released of Zinchenko and Pep. Have you seen it?
No. I was about the training or something.
Oh, so funny. This is pretty much unrelated, but it's just hilarious. It was like, apparently Zinni messed up a pass and Pep had a go at him. And he was like, but boss, like, just one pass. And he was like, oh, sorry, Mrs. Zinchenko. Everyone, Mrs. Zinchenko said one pass doesn't matter, training's done. And I thought that was hilarious. Like,
I can imagine him. That's what he does.
That's why it's so funny, because you can literally imagine
hear Pep saying it.
Like, you can imagine him turning his back and just like raising the arms, flicking the hands, and saying, doing all the gestures, and that's it, training's done. And it's just so funny. Like,
but that's why, for me, they're one. And for me, Liverpool is always second for some reason. They just are, because I think they're going to be, no matter who wins the league, I feel like Liverpool end up in that's my rogue sort of shout.
That's an interesting call.
I feel like it's going to be the three of them, like it was last year, but this time Liverpool will just hold and one of the two will just drop.
Yeah, so that's not the worst call I've ever heard, you know?
And again, unrelated, I'm just going on the limb here. I think 90 points will be the team who finishes top. The team who finishes third will be 85. So I reckon it's going to be like the three of them.
I could not agree more. I think the league, this is the most competitive top of the table we've had probably like 10 years.
Yeah, proper. Last year, again, I was riding it and holding on.
Me and Tots were like just waiting.
And I was holding on by threads, and it all took was Salah's head to go, and then it all fell apart.
But no, this year,
That's I want
this
to talk about
in Liverpool because it's built on defensive stability,
and that's the thing.
That's why I have more faith.
And I want to talk about it in the game. I'll talk about it now. My problem with Arsenal, in terms of them as a whole, was like the emotion-driven performances, which I was actually impressed with last night.
The red card thing.
Yeah, but I was impressed at last night. Last night wasn't emotion-driven. It was football-driven.
Could we have had? I've been waiting. I'm not gonna. I'll hold it.
You hold it?
I'll hold it.
Whereas Liverpool, like you said, defensive solidity, but it's no longer rock and roll, Jurgen Klopp up and down the touchline. It's like, Arne Slot came out and said it. It was second best team. we're happy to get a point.
Yeah.
Like there's something about that and the way he manages and the players like the Gravenberch and McAllister who I think fit this system to a T. That I'm like, boy, they're going to be just a pain in the ass for you to. And I just feel like they're going to be there. I like what Salah does. And I like how, like how Diaz will just make something happen.
Salah does? He's a decent player, that guy.
But it's funny. We always say like, sell him as a pass wash, whatever. Like, and people always bring it up.
Okay, no.
But
I said sell him when they got
no. I'm not trying to like, I'm not trying to like downplay. But it's not just you. It's everyone. Everyone's like, I Salah that guy. But he just does these big game
he's
stuff.
honestly like one of the most fascinating players in Prem history in terms of like
he'll blank against a
I'm not gonna lie, when it comes to being like, aesthetic on the ball and all that stuff, I guess that's just not him.
No, he just
but his output is insane. You credit where credit is due.
So I whack him in the middle.
Yeah.
Again, these three, I get. I'll preface it. One of the few times I won't back myself in there. I was flipping either way.
I'm backing me in.
But with what you've had, the only way is up, surely, for Arsenal.
Which is why I'm so confident.
Which is crazy when you're in third.
Like it feels like everything has gone wrong. Mm-hmm. The only points we've dropped this year, besides from last night, were in games we had red cards. Yeah. And then last night we lose our centre back. So we have no centre backs.
No left back.
Well, and then Timber goes. And then like
Marley, what is his name? Skelly's on the pitch.
Wait. Someone on Twitter abbreviated it. It was so funny. And everyone's like, blood, no one knows who this is. MLK, mate. Yeah, someone. CR7 equivalent. It's Miles Lewis Skelly. And no, someone was like Martin Luther King reject, mate. MLK, like MLS, MLK. So funny, mate.
MLK reject.
Miles Lewis Kelly. MLK.
Okay, whack him in there.
That was hilarious.
The passion for the man. But yeah, actually, that's our list. We'll probably get right onto that game. So Everton 1, Fulham 1, draw. Everton good football. We talked about United's capitulation. I'll probably do a single video about that anyway. 2-1 to West Ham. Good win for West Ham. Desperately needed. Let's get into the two big ones. So back up our list here. Chelsea 2, Newcastle 1. You were watching this game as well, so we were watching this one, right?
I was goal rush.
You goal rushing it.
So I didn't actually see much of this game, to be honest, because I was watching the United game, which is the worst watch ever.
I was watching the United game. When I got sick of it, I kept my second screen for this game. Very impressive from Chelsea. Just building that point. They look... Are we solidifying them as like a top 4 team? Are we going that far?
I think fourth is there to lose.
Yeah. Okay.
Theirs to lose, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's they're in a part of that group.
Yeah. No, as in I would honestly look at it like
3 and then Chelsea.
Yeah, 3 Liverpool on the bottom, but 3, and then Chelsea, and then like daylight. To be honest, I just think Chelsea just have too much quality.
Are we worried for we're talking about the defense the whole time, but are we worried for Newcastle's attack because Isak could have scored 2, but still he doesn't look like the same.
Yeah, he's not the guy he was last year.
Gordon missing.
No, Gordon in the squad's a massive loss.
He had Almiron running about again. It's like
it was. I mean, and I'm trying to think, was Almiron like were we having insane Almiron last year or year before?
I think it was
the year before.
Nah, it was year before.
Yeah. But even then, like Jacob Murphy was he was pitching in last year, and they were sort of finding a way. They just had more. I thought that Isak was a different player.
Yeah,
and then they were getting a little bit more from around the team as well, and it's just like it's all just dropped off a little bit. I don't know. I'm really losing a lot of faith in this Eddie Howe Newcastle team. Like it's just all going wrong.
Yeah, mid-table screaming.
Like at least if they were leaking more goals, you'd think okay, they're going to be scoring more.
Yeah.
But it's just they're getting worse defensively. Yeah. They're getting worse attacking, and my whole prediction on Newcastle was on the basis of 2 years ago.
Yeah,
I was like, wow, when Eddie Howe came in, that was. It was all going really well. Yeah. Defensively, they were so solid, and then I expected them to become better attacking because they were getting assets. They were getting Isak and they got Gordon and then last year we saw that click a lot.
Really well.
And then but they were a little bit worse defensively, and I was like, okay, they're going to sort of get it all together this year, and they're going to be a force to reckon with.
Yeah.
Because along with that, the underlying thing for me with Newcastle was that they have an ambitious ownership.
Yeah.
Which I think is a really big thing. I feel like Arsenal have an ambitious ownership. City do.
Yeah.
Liverpool, I'm not really sure about, but United definitely don't, right? Chelsea do. So it's like the club mentality in my eyes was trending the right way with Newcastle, but it's just not matching up on the pitch at all at the moment. And I think, as we already mentioned, I think Eddie Howe's. I wouldn't be surprised to see him not last very long, to be honest.
Yeah. I think there's two common denominators, Trippier and Botman. Trippier just with age. And Newcastle fans from social media, they're just sick of Hall because he's good going forward, but he's just awful defensively. And Botman as well, the inconsistency, the inavailability and the like, and how like now Dan Burn's been moved centre back, then left back, right. I think it's just like they need some continuity, and then you're not going to get the same Trippier, and it just feels like you need to start again with that. Not start again,
and even
completely.
Like,
but
what was their midfield yesterday?
They had the big three in there: Tonali, Bruno, and Joe Linton. So they had the.
But even like Joe Linton hasn't been the guy.
No, but I'd still say it's probably not their worst midfield. I think Bruno's really struggled this season in terms of performances.
Yeah.
Because Bruno's supposed to be that guy, right? It's supposed to be like he's the leader.
It's sort of like United Bruno, low-key as well. It's like,
same thing.
Like it doesn't. Often we put a lot of like. Often we highlight the guys around them, saying like, they're letting them down. But if the main men aren't performing to the level which has become expected, then how can you expect anyone else to do it, right? And Bruno is definitely amongst that.
Yeah, you put it well, because when Bruno, both of them, when they're playing incredible, their teams are like firing. There's goals galore.
Yeah, like they're like often the catalyst.
Yeah, yes, the catalyst
for
what their team does.
For like team performance, right? And I just don't feel like anyone from Newcastle's really got it going this year. I think Anthony Gordon and Harvey Barnes, to be fair.
Harvey Barnes probably their player.
Yeah, so I think Harvey Barnes is a little bit weird because like he got benched last week when Gordon and Murphy got started.
Yeah.
Because the problem with that is that Harvey Barnes has been good off the left.
The left, man.
But then I think Gordon can only do it off the left.
Yeah,
they tried in the middle. And I think he's an international level player on the left. Like that's my opinion on Anthony Gordon. Yeah. But then Harvey Barnes was so good there, and it's like, how do you make this work? And they've got a few issues in terms of picking their best 11, and there's just a lot going on at the moment with Newcastle. I just don't think there's a lack of coherence and
inconsistent performances with inconsistent results. Yeah, they play badly, they win. Exactly. They play well, and they lose. It's just I don't know how to pick from it. Palace 1, Spurs 0. Big win for Palace. Needed win for Palace. Mateta needed the goal.
Massive win for Palace.
All in all, actually had a fair chunk of chances. So fair play to them. Like, I didn't give him much of a hope, but this hopefully now springs him to life this year.
I can't even think of what Spurs had.
I think the one that hit Brennan Johnson and like deflected.
Yeah. Like that was like that one.
And then a long shot, I think that was
like a Pape Sarr.
Yeah, one of those. But it wasn't like
so disappointing though.
And to your point about Solanke, I said it in the group chat last night as well. I think this year it's been Kulusevski or bust with him. Yeah. Whenever he's performed, they looked incredible. But because he's a part of this midfield that has no holding midfielder from the looks of it, with like Papsar, yes.
They're choosing not to start Bissouma. No.
It's so unbalanced that when he's not performing well and doing everything, it just feels like this whole team just falls apart.
Just funny, because like that was the Maddison position, and like literally until this season, which is interesting by the way. Maddison's like really gone out of favour.
He's becoming that sort of. I don't even know what to call him because it's not the he's playing the McAllister spot, but not the McAllister.
He's a liability defensively.
Yeah, he can't
nothing
defend.
like McAllister defensively. McAllister
on the ball,
play, challenges players. And,
and
like Madison. Madison's created a lot of chances, but you're right. Like in terms of what that position requires and what he's doing, he's just a 10 playing at 8, and it's just not working. Like, whereas you're right, Kulusevski's been the main driving force in that attack. Obviously, it doesn't help not having Son. Timo Werner's just not that guy. At least on the left, at all.
No, at all.
At all, but especially on the left.
Yeah.
Like at least at 9, like he doesn't need to be like an intricate player on the ball.
Just get him behind.
He's just not good on the ball. He's so bad on the ball.
First time was horrid.
Shocking.
Horrid first.
And then you lose like the drop off there is massive. And then Brennan Johnson, I feel like, is more of a player. He's a product of those around him. Like he'll find the spots.
Yeah,
he'll get in the positions and he'll he's had a tough last few weeks in finishing, but as in he's overall been good this year.
Mm-hmm.
But if they're not creating chances, like if Dominic Solanke's not getting involved, then
it's a big point.
How is what is Brennan Johnson going to do from out there?
Yeah,
so I for me, I really think I think Solanke needs to. I don't think it's a system thing. I think he needs to do it
Get
himself.
involved, yeah.
Mate, like,
What did he do at Bournemouth? Just drop in, pick the ball up, and drive.
just, sack the bloody hold up play. He's getting so deep in the hole to start the attack. Like, mate, have a shot.
Get forward.
Often I think it's giving me like how Lacazette vibes, and where he's trying to do everything else besides score. Mate, like, you scored like 17 goals last year for Bournemouth.
And was probably one of the players of the year.
Yeah, and you were unreal in the first two games against you. It was unreal. Yeah, he was unreal. Yeah. It's like, how can they averse the teams they versed? And he's had no impact. He was non-existent last week, and was non-existent last night as well. So sorry, I think Ange just needs to say just stop overcomplicating it and just be a striker and let the guy, let Maddison and Kulusevski. You have the most attacking midfield in the league. Let them bring the ball up to you.
Yeah, and you just finish.
And just sit. Yeah, just be a big boy in the box and just do that, right? Be a poacher.
Yeah, it's funny. If a team that scores, not even that much this year, but a team that's supposed to score a lot of goals, they're not very coherent going forward.
Yeah, and especially when it comes to breaking down teams. They couldn't break down Palace at all last night. And Palace have been shocking defensively.
Yeah, no, that's legit. That's what hurt them at times this season.
It was unbelievable. I mean, but Gay was unreal. So, yeah.
They've turned around Palace, at least defensively. Last two games have been good. All right, let's get to the big one. We sort of touched on parts of it. Let's just talk about, one, the penalty that wasn't given. Two, I guess, injuries for both sides. And then I guess three, for me, the big plays turned it. If you want a spectacle for a game, Salah scores. Saka's goal was incredible.
Yeah, it's
nuts. Van Dijk scoring as well. And then your second was Marino. Yeah. Well, I thought I had a hit and miss game.
I thought it was good.
I want to hear your thoughts on all that.
Firstly, the officiating in this league, I actually. So you have two pens given in the games before, right? You have Danny Ings for, I don't even know.
Just bumping into each other.
Yeah, like some Danny Ings, like a bump. And then you have, was it Nkunku got given the pen?
Yes.
So I know it was overturned,
but
it was good. But Nkunku got given a pen for the softest thing I have ever seen. I was when I saw the notification there was a pen, I went straight onto the game and saw it, and I was like, holy, legit! I was thinking the game is genuinely gone. I'm not even trying to just say, if that was given a pen, oh my.
By the way, that happened.
I'm moving the buddy like watching the Hungarian league. I need a bit of physicality here because that was unbelievable.
It happened within minutes of each other as well. It's crazy.
Yeah, I know.
Literally the exact same time.
So you have that basis, right? And the officials probably watching the game, thinking, okay, let me just
you have to
get exactly. Keep it consistent, all those sort of things. And then Gabriel Martinelli gets snapped
by two players.
Yeah, not just Trent, who actually got the ball a little bit.
But Kanate
somehow, nicked the ball. Kanate comes in, snaps him, doesn't get anywhere near the ball, and Anthony just waves it off. And I'm like, I wouldn't even care if it wasn't a pen a couple of years ago, but with how soft this league is now, it was almost like it wasn't given a pen because it was a rough challenge.
A couple guys.
Bringing it back to Barclays, mate. As in. I'm watching that thinking, how can that not be a pen? I just have no idea. Martinelli has been snapped by Kanate and hasn't got anywhere near the ball. I just honestly couldn't believe it. And then along with that, topped off by the fact that I just thought the whole game, every 50-50 went against us. It's probably just biased, but I thought we had a really stiff run with the officiating. And then just cherry on top was Gabriel Jesus not getting the corner in the last minute of the game. Yeah. I mean, it's just blatantly bounced off Simicas's leg, and I'm thinking, you know what, this is the tale of our story this season with the officiating. So I tend to think what goes around comes around. So I think we'll get a good run eventually.
It is some
maybe
run.
Eventually
run to get that.
But we're having a stiff run at the moment. So I thought that didn't help. But in terms of the actual game itself. Really good game. Yeah. I don't even know where to start. I guess we'll start with Saka.
That guy.
So much uncertainty around whether he'll even start. And then
he's incredible.
And then, yeah, what was it? 10 minutes? 9 minutes?
9
minutes
minutes.
in?
9
9 minutes in.
Sat Rob's on his ass.
Yeah. Who even played the ball?
Write it down.
I can't remember.
Ben White.
Yeah, Ben White from centre back. Yeah.
It wasn't even a diag. It was like a
it was a straight. Yeah. So what a
pass.
ball. Saka takes it down, puts Robbo on his bum.
Oh, that was bad, man. That was...
And then the finish was just authoritative, mate.
Roofed it.
Just bang. I love those finishes.
Yeah.
I always wanted to, those guys in those positions on the field, like, they always try and put it bottom corner. Mate, just smack the thing up. Like, I swear to God, just kick it up and you'll get it in every time. Yeah. But no, absolutely. Mental finish, great touch. And then unfortunately, we were undone not long later.
The set piece kings are undone by set piece.
I know, 2 weeks in a row, mate. Set piece kings.
But this was Trent though. I feel like there's different, it's a whole different kettle of fish.
That was a stupid like Diaz, like
little flick on. But you can't stop that.
If we have Saliba, does that happen? Is Partey is Saliba goal side of Van Dijk? Maybe. Well, is Saliba behind Van Dijk? I don't think so. Maybe goal side. In that case, can he still do anything about it? I don't know. I just
the flick on causes havoc though. It just causes
we have Calafiora, we have Saliba. I'm just not convinced that goes in. It's just one of those, like. But then again, I'm not going to sit here and deny that Van Dijk isn't historically a beast from set pieces as well. I mean,
he loves a set piece header.
Mate, he's a bloody monster in the box.
Yeah.
So yeah, they get one back there cheaply after I feel like a pretty unconvincing first 10 minutes or first 20 minutes.
Soft for them, yeah.
And then
bit of a scrap for the
and
then
it gets to half time and a bit of a scrap for sure.
Yeah. Second half though, wow, I thought you guys.
Yeah, second half. When did we score in the second half?
I can't remember. I didn't put a time in, but it was sort of, I think it was about 10, 15 minutes in.
Yeah, I think about 60 minutes in.
Yeah, great ball from Declan. It was a game of just like quality goals.
It was okay. So it was just after Gabriel got subbed off, I think.
Yeah, because he came off injured
because we had no Gabriel in that free kick.
That set piece, yeah.
But yeah, so
Mikel Moreno.
Yeah, Mikel Moreno. Oh, just on side, thank God. But yeah, no, like great ball from Declan Rice. And good finish, but. And then I just feel like we were so dominant for the whole, like pretty much the entire half, and
second half of the
just get undone. But I mean, we just couldn't put the ball away. Just couldn't. Gabriel, I really like Martinelli, but
I'm losing faith in the brother.
Yeah, I am questioning whether what we saw as like that sort of rash 18-year-old kid is what we're going to get, because he's still sort of living off like byline pace. Just ping it across, like
hit someone in the
I don't see him cut inside enough and try and put it far corner.
Yeah.
Like as in, I think it's because he's trying to be so unpredictable by going left.
Yeah,
that he never goes right, and it's like, and even when he did, we saw him blaze on over the bar.
Yeah, it was two of them, I think, as well.
Off that Jurian Timberlake pass back, and I'm just watching, like, you're just scratching your head, thinking like, come on, man, just give it a bit more of a chance, and it's just it's a bummer to watch, because like. He's so close to ripping the league apart. I feel like he's so close. He could have bloody 20 assists a season from just getting the byline and whipping it back, but he's just not doing it. It's just scrappy, and even the ball at his own feet, it's scrappy. Like it's, I don't know.
January, left winger or a striker.
Maybe a striker.
Like I feel like if you solve it, you get Gorkeres up top, you push Trossard to the left, and then that sort of fixes for the season.
Even though Havertz has been good, but
I like Havertz as well. I really do like what Havertz is doing this.
But is Havertz like just a player who's such a good squad player?
Yeah, maybe.
He'll start a lot of games. He'll be on the bench a lot of games.
Yeah,
but he's just so versatile. Like, is that sort of what Havertz is? I don't know, but yeah, in terms of I thought we dominated them in the midfield.
Yeah. It was surprising.
I thought we dominated, to be honest.
Well, Well, I wasn't expecting Liverpool to dominate the midfield, but
I thought Moreno was really, really good, to be honest. He had one sort of slip early days, but then...
I just think... On the boy... maybe I'm just holding up to that Euro standard. Maybe no one's going to live up to that Euro standard. But in the Euros, I just felt like he could do a bit of everything.
Yeah.
Defensively, he was much, much better this week versus the Bournemouth. I think it was really poor, the Bournemouth game defensively. But defensively was much better. But I expected Liverpool to sort of... I don't know, make it... Like the first half, a little bit more scrappier in there, and they just didn't. Second half definitely didn't do that.
Yeah,
and I think you'd like if I was an Arsenal player, I'd be angry at the goal. So it comes from that counter attacking to the style where if you get late in the game, you just got to sort of try and be aware of it. But I guess without Gabriel there, Saliba there, you do become vulnerable to that. But I just thought like, wow, you're sort of 10 minutes away here. Yeah. Like, do we need to? And again, it was just a direct pass from Trent. And again, sometimes you just can't stop that. But maybe if a midfielder just not blocks the ball, but just is visually there, it puts it off a little bit. That's the only thing I'll say. But second half, I'd put it to you. I think you guys 10 out of 10 the midfield out versus a sort of 6 at best from Liverpool.
My man of the match was Thomas Partey.
I'd agree.
I thought he was insane.
I thought they'd cook him down that side. I thought he'd be done.
Yeah, no, man. He pocketed Diaz. I know Diaz gets an assist in the score sheet, but he got dragged at like 60 minutes because he was...
The physicality was a big thing as well.
Mate, he was unbelievable. He was cutting everything off.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was closing him down rapid. Like, it was such a good game to watch from Thomas Partey. All in all, like the game though, like I know Slot said we deserve to win. And that's probably factoring in the fact that, you know, Gabriel goes off injured, Timber goes off injured. You know, like we just get done so tough in that sense. But in terms of chance creation, I think the XG says it was like 1.1 each. Like, you know, we although we were dominant with the ball in the second half, it's been a problem for us to get clear cut chances because the likes of Martinelli, like, you know, just getting so close, but just not being able to do enough with it in the final third, and when you play that dominant for so long, you're of course you're going to be prone to counter attack.
Yeah, exactly. And you think you've got it, and then you don't.
And when you're up against guys like Mo Salah, who can do nothing the entire game.
That's Mo Salah, isn't it?
But you give him a chance in the box, of course he's putting it away. So like, I was almost sort of, unfortunately, I was a little bit expecting of that Salah equaliser, you know. But that doesn't deter me for the whole season, because I do think, honestly, with our full strength team, that doesn't happen. Yeah, But you know, like game, you know, that's another 2 points dropped.
Yeah, and it feels like for Arsenal it is 2 points dropped because actually how well you played. Yeah, it's back to City again. 100%. It's same thing as City. And again, Liverpool, mate. I came in expecting Liverpool to potentially nick it. You guys play better in these big games. It's funny. You guys, I think, are better in big games than the big guys are. Yeah. Whereas they don't slip up often. Yeah. Especially City at all against the middle table team. You guys are all bad at bottom team. We can agree with that. All you big three beat the bottom teams. Yeah. The bottom 5. The mid-table teams, Liverpool have been vulnerable. I think they're fixing that. You guys have been vulnerable. I'm hoping you're fixing that. It's the top games where I think you're the best.
When did we last?
You're the best team.
I don't know when we last lost to a top 6 team. It's been forever. Like ages. We didn't lose to City last year. Didn't lose to Liverpool. Not this year. Like we haven't lost to a top 6 team.
Didn't lose to Tottenham last year. Yeah.
In months. In probably like a year.
Yeah.
So legit, probably the 2 years. I don't know. It's been probably City 2 years ago.
And that's probably the most frustrating thing as an Arsenal fan.
100%, because you're like, if all our competition can't beat us, why aren't we winning the league?
Beating yourself.
You know?
Stand at that point.
I don't know. I think Mikel must be scratching his head as well, thinking, like, what more can I do here?
Yeah.
But
to touch on Liverpool quickly, I just want to say, like I said earlier, this new style is suiting the team. And a game like that yesterday where they were in control, it was actually a fresh of breath, I guess, for Liverpool fans to see them actually still compete and end up getting a point, because in years in the past, I don't know if they get a point that sort of game there, it gets a bit overwhelming. They just make a mistake. Like last year, they made mistakes, and then you guys sort of get on top. So I think for them, that's a positive. And I think now it's 2 games in a row against 2 really good teams. I think we can all believe now they are a real deal. Because again, the question was like, are they a real deal? Yeah. Are they really this?
Like, I still think it is still early days, you know, and like, I'd wait for like a real hiccup to see how they respond. Maybe
bounce back, yeah.
Yeah, like they will have a period where they, I don't know, like draw a couple games in a row, or only win one in 3 or 1 in 4, and that's more so how I want to see how they respond there. I mean, if they don't have that, then the season must be amazing, because every team has that, right? So, but you are right. I am becoming increasingly more convinced with this Liverpool team, especially from the basis that like it's defense up, right?
Yeah,
he's got Trent playing well, like defensively. So I mean, fair play.
That's a shout. And again, across Europe as well, they're doing it in Europe. Actually, that's a big thing. All Premier League teams are killing it in Europe.
I think we're all unbeaten.
Yeah, and they're all in the top 6, I think, in the table, which is ridiculous.
Yeah, that's mental.
There we go. that's the week wrapped. A long one this week. There's a lot of good games. We'll save our segment to next week, I think.
Next week, yeah, cool. That's all good.
Maybe Tots will be here for it as well. But there we go. I guess winner and loser quickly before we wrap up. Well, loser, I think we can all agree is Ten Hag, or just United in general. Yeah, we can agree with that. I'm going to winner being
United.
Who should go as a winner being? You know, I'm gonna go rogue and different. I'm gonna go just like Everton, just in general.
Yep.
Late equaliser, haven't lost in 5 weeks.
That's a good call.
I'm gonna back them in because we both have them high up the power rankings as well. I think they're doing really well for themselves. So that's probably my winner from the weekend.
My winner, I was thinking maybe Chris Wood.
Oh, that's a good shot.
I was even thinking Glasner.
There's a lot of.
Yeah, I probably got Oli Glasner.
Yeah,
like he's been.
There was a question about his job.
Yeah. No, there was a lot of scrutiny on his job as of late, and I think that was a much needed win. You know, probably more so than anyone, to be honest. That win itself.
Generally, yeah.
We know Palace aren't afraid to give him the sack. So
yeah,
like Vieira got pretty stiff. Yeah, my win's gonna be Oli Glasner. And did I say loser? Oh, that's right. We said United. Yeah, United. Yeah, fair play.
It's one of the easy ones this week. It's a simple slam dunk for that one. Well, thanks for jumping on, my friend.
No stress.
Do we have 3 next week? That's the question we'll have to ask.
Next week? Yeah, I should be ripe and ready to go. I'll have more exams.
And then the week after, I've got exams. So we'll see how if you do another one the week after that. We'll see how that goes.
Man, Tots will have to do it. Imagine that, man. Tots. That'd be hilarious.
I'd love to see that happen.
That'd be hilarious.
If I just come in, just whack with the cameras.
Yeah. You can just like walk in and be shown and be like, "What's going on?
What's going to happen to people?
Place burned down yet?" That's hilarious.
Love that. Been a good episode. A lot to cover. Sorry, it's a bit of a longer one this week, people. But if you hang around, thank you for joining us. 5-star Spotify, 5-star Apple Podcast. Like, comment, subscribe on YouTube. Check out the potty on Thursday. Classico into Juve to wrap up.
Classico, mate. Love the club. Love the club.
Forza Barca.
It's my club.
Yamin Lamal, that guy.
Yamin Lamal.
Yamin Lamal. A lot to talk about on Thursday with Nathan, so we'll definitely have to wrap that up. Until next time, guys. See you later.